Happy Wednesday. A little bit later in the afternoon for those that are watching us on live, watching us live on X. I'm learning how to use the English language again today. We have a returning guest. His name is Brian. Before we bring Brian onto the stage, we are at 39,037 miles. So just went over 39,000. I feel like I'm edging just slightly closer to that 40,000, and then it'll just be all downhill on the other side. With the reconfiguration of the podcast, we had talked about bringing in and talking tips and tricks and things to have a more fulfilling life. In that regard, we've brought Brian back. So please bring on the guest.
Hey, Rob, this is
Hi.
Brian. Nice to
Hey.
thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you since earlier today. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring in. That's the Gramps first zinger. We're done with it.
There it is. There's the zinger. Okay.
We're going down after downhill now. I originally, as I showed you earlier, originally had a whole page of notes and things I wanted to talk about and things to catch us up on where you are. And I still want to get, sort of Brian Grace's journey and, what you guys have done and have you given up your workouts? And I know I'm being kind of funny when I say that, but I really did want to, I've had a couple of friends on that have given me these perspectives on AI. And it's like literally a holy shit. I had no idea that was going to be affected by this thing. Like they've said, it's the problem isn't that it's coming in and it's this new technology. The problem is it's touching everything. Like it's the scope, I guess is the word that I would use. And because of the scope, I want us as older shepherds to be able to share sort of what we can help people do to be prepared for this as this is happening. So I know you're on a business level, walking into customers, and I won't name any names, but you go into customers and they start talking about shadow AI or what one guy's using, what's their requirements and how do you lock it down and things of that nature. Is that purely the only way you're thinking about AI? Are you thinking about it from any of these other, warfare and my privacy? Are you thinking about it from, different? What is Brian thinking about?
I don't worry about the privacy as much as some people. It is a big component of AI because of compliance. When it comes to compliance, you have to think of AI from that point of view. And compliance is HIPAA, PCI DSS, GDPR out of the UK. Then you get into all the legal ramifications. There's lawyers have to have compliance acts. Finance people have compliance acts. So from a compliance perspective, there's a big deal when it comes to the term privacy and data and what you should and should not do and et cetera. But from a purely functional point of view, I think about AI across everything. I think about it from how does it make my life better? How does it make my job better? How do I use it to make things more efficient? And I think that's one of the problems that people misunderstand is that AI is not about doing the thing, but helping you do the thing better, faster, and better, and faster and better, right? The outcome should be better than what you could have done on your own in a more efficient time frame. But I listen to podcasts all over the place. And when you listen to other people speak who are in different vertical sectors or just walks of life, it's crazy what it's getting involved with. When you look at the use of AI in the medical space, you're talking about being able to discover medications that would have taken decades. These people talk about you could find a cure for some disease in months.
This is creation of medication, is what you're saying.
Creation of a medication that solves a biological problem.
Okay.
Right? Because now you have a machine with the intelligence to crunch the numbers, to put this super simplistic terms, in hours rather than years, months, etc. Right? So you got a medical application of AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning to do that kind of research. You have a military application that is all over the place because now you're talking about autonomous weapons. You're talking about the ability to crack into systems in a matter of moments rather than weeks or months. You're
Right.
talking about subversive technologies. You know, let's take the last 5 years of our civilization and how and all the political things that have happened through social media. Throw in an engine that can throw millions of posts in an hour at an environment and see what happens. So when
Right.
you listen to when you listen to a specialist in the military sector, AI is number one. And if no one has ever said this, we are in the arms race of AI between China, us, and Iran, and maybe a couple other players to see who has the best AI or large language model, whatever. The government had to step in when Claude released Fable 5. The world
Okay.
blew up.
Right.
Fable 5 broke all the benchmarks for capability and what it could do. And the government stepped in and told Claude, you need to pull this back. You cannot release this weapon of possible uncomprehensible power to the world because we don't want our enemies to have it. And you can go look this up. There's a great podcast that talked about this, how I forget which department it was that basically went to Claude and said, hey, this is no good. And the only thing Claude could do was to pull it back. And so what people don't know is that Grok did it, ChatGPT did it, Claude did it. There's three other players who also released engines at the same level as Fable 5 at the same
Okay.
time. They're all in cahoots. But the government now, no AI maker is allowed to release a new model without government approval first now. So now there's
They're in the workflow.
yep, they're in the workflow now because
Holy, I didn't know that.
it's not publicized. That you have to listen to the right stuff. But nobody's allowed to be releasing a new model without the federal government saying you're okay, you're good. This can go out.
So
Um,
they're doing like the quality assurance function of the new versions,
yeah, they're doing a
maybe.
quality assurance version basically that says we don't want China to get this, we don't want Iran to get this, and
Okay.
pick some other enemies. That's the fear of what they're doing. I've said this in many speeches and many talks that I've had with people is that, and you know this, the software landscape has had rules and regulations for decades.
Right.
What you're not allowed to do, what you can do, how you roll something out, how it works in the enterprise or just in the world. All of the AI makers threw all those rules right out the window, and all the enterprises threw it right out the window as well. Like all of a sudden, everybody forgot how to manage an enterprise class application. It's like,
Right.
oh, it's just a wild frickin' west all of a sudden. So somebody had to step in and say, hey, let's start putting the reins on some of these things. And the government stepping in is purely geopolitical, strategic, military. End
It
of day,
felt like
that's
that.
it.
Yep. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, yeah, the military application of AI is nobody really talks about it. You got to be in the right realms, listen to the right podcast. It's massive, massive. Um, but I look at it, but then from a business perspective, you have medical application, business application, military application, creativity application, because the ability, I mean, there are so many channels out there now creating content that there's a whole Star Wars subculture creating an amazing Star Wars content that it'll just blow your mind. It's
We
it's
just took a right
amazing.
turn. We just took a right turn in
Yeah,
Albuquerque. That's what I just
I
did.
know. We did
Wow.
because it doesn't want to. Because it's real easy to go down the Terminator rabbit hole with
Right.
AI and the end of the world and all that. And that's not what I believe. I do
I don't
believe.
either. I
I
don't
don't
either.
believe that.
When you started talking about medical earlier, I thought the application you were going to say was like we're using AI to look at x-rays and it's finding stuff that the negative or the human eye didn't see, and
Yep.
we're finding these sort of genes and the things that
Yes.
they're able to do.
Yes.
That's where
Yeah.
I thought you were going, as
Yeah.
opposed to, as you said, yet another realm
Yeah.
of
Of use. Yeah.
yeah.
Research. When you look at the research world, you're talking about scientists using supercomputers. They needed the supercomputers to crunch numbers that still took the supercomputers weeks to get through the calculations and the
Right.
experiments. That game's changing, but there's not enough. We don't have enough time to talk about every single bullet point underneath one umbrella. Medical is everywhere.
Yep.
The X-ray thing, like I've heard people talk about, and coming from the medical, the that world, X-ray techs or doctors who go into X-ray. What are they called? I forget what
Radiologist.
radiologists. Thank you. Like they're saying that will not be that big of a demand in the coming years because you'll have it's already happening. AI is already being used to analyze images because it can become better at it, but you
Right.
still have to have the human in the loop for now. But the X-ray radiologist is one of those positions that is seen as potentially eliminated by artificial intelligence,
Because it'll
uh,
be faster, more
faster,
effective,
more effective,
and more affordable because you won't
more
have
affordable. Yeah,
the human.
yeah, exactly. And a human can only do so much. I mean, you can only have a human look at so many images in a day without before that human being is like, I can't see anything anymore. So
Right.
and you start looking at images too much, you're gonna miss it because your eyes are burnt out. Let's face it, there's a lot of human work that would be better served by a machine. Just plain and simple. People don't want to say that because it says, you're going to lose work, you're going to lose jobs. Um, but that's the reality of civilization in a nutshell. It really is. I don't give a shit what people say. I lost my job. My well-paying established career was ended because the company shifted to AI. And it didn't even take over my position. It was just,
Right.
we don't want to do that thing anymore. So we don't need your skill set. We're focusing more on all AI. So we got rid of your whole department. And I'm not the only one. So there's a part of me that there is truth in the one statement. You won't lose your job, you'll lose it to someone who knows how to use AI. There's truth to that, but there's also truth to the fact that we're going to see a massive upset, and you're already seeing it
Yep.
in the industry because of different things. Um,
Well, do you believe the people that say that this is a path to a 4-day work week or a 3-day work week because the tool makes the people more effective? You know what I mean? You don't see us artificially changing our structure?
Personally, I do not, because the problem with efficiencies, and this is shown throughout history, from a work perspective, just because you can do more work faster doesn't mean there's no more work or somebody's not going to make more work because you're
Right.
more efficient now,
Right.
right? So that, and you know this as well as I remember the days when I first started my career. There were two guys that were hired when I worked for the HJ Heinz company. All they did was sat in the data center, and every hour they would push the enter button on a computer, because there was no automation. There was no
N-
software yet that
No
could,
scripting yet?
no scripting yet, no
Yeah.
nothing. Every hour they would go in and hit enter. That was a job. Those guys did not have a job 3 years later when the first set of real automation software came on and that could all be scheduled.
Right.
Those guys were let go because the computer's doing it. I don't need you to hit enter anymore.
Right.
There was no retraining. There was no, we're going to put you over here. It's been going on for decades, but that may be
But we
doom
don't
and
shorten the
gloomy.
we don't shorten the work week is what
We
I'm
don't,
really hearing you say.
I do not, unless you work for yourself and have your own business and you have the right efficiencies in place, that should be the goal. But I don't see the enterprise doing it. I mean, if anything, look at the last few years. Not only have they mandated everyone go back to work, but they've mandated back to the office basically full time. I don't see, I think I think the 4-day work week is a generational concept that they want and think will work. And until you reach a tipping point in who's in charge and being employed, you're not going to see that. I don't think it'll happen. That's my personal opinion because the work will never stop. And business thinks if you're not working, what are you doing?
Why are we paying you? Yeah.
Why are we paying you?
I hear
The
you. And then
better yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I start thinking about like if you're only open or your workforce is only there Tuesday through Friday, as an example. Well, who's taking care of your customers on Mondays and Sundays and things like that? So I
Yeah.
see that side of it, and I start thinking, well, hey, are they going to do some fancy, like you work Monday through Wednesday, and then this crew works third? You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know. I do that, and
Yeah.
then the biggest piece, which I think I leaked to you before we kicked off, is if you were to do that and the efficiencies and the effectiveness do come in, and all of a sudden, instead of having a 40 to 50 hour obligation to a job, you're only given 25 hours to say, what do you do with the other 15 to 25 hours of your life? What are people going to do?
Well, I mean, that's a great question, but I think it's a very personal question because I mean, look at you. I bet you would find things to do that you would want to do, Ps- you know, it's one of those things. I got a better question, but I'll try to answer that. What do you do with your time? What do you do with your free time? What are your hobbies? What other things do you like to do? It comes down, see, this I think is also a generational thing. Like you and I are 50s, in our 50s, we're Gen X. We like to work. So
Right.
not working is almost like, what the hell am I doing if I'm not working?
Yeah, I'm
And
bored. What am I going to do?
bored. Yeah, exactly. I'm bored. And I have no problem with that. But I also work, I don't work from the time I get up till the time I go to bed. Like I'll work, do something else, work, do something else, work, do something else. I may put in a 12-hour day, but that day is broken up. But
Right.
what happens, the better question is if you're only being paid for 20, and this is something that I think nobody likes to talk about. One, you start to have an unnecessary workforce. So, and forget AI. AI is only one piece of the puzzle because you have to add automation into this piece as
Okay.
well. So, AI is alone is going to upset the apple cart a little bit. Automation plus AI is going to tip the whole thing over because now you're talking about real replacement of a human being that was doing a thing, and now the robot is doing the thing. And if nobody has noticed, robotics is ginormous right now. And it's being developed almost as fast as the AI models. And if you don't understand how fast AI is being developed, 93 new models have been released in the last 3 months. There has never been that level of development in the history of anything man has done. It's
Wow.
unprecedented, it's unheard of. And we're not talking like release point two, release point three. We're talking release infant to teenager to college professor to God. Just where every week there are new models being developed that are 10 times more powerful than the last week's release. And this
Wow.
cadence isn't slowing down. It's one of the reasons why the government had to get involved.
Right.
So, couple AI machine learning with automation, now you're changing the world and what people can and can't do. Now the question goes into this one. If you're only being paid for 25 hours of work, how much money are you making? And what can you afford to do? What happens when we have 20 million people who cannot work or find work, 30 million, 40 million people, because that thing has taken the job? What happens then? That's my question that many people like to talk about. Or no, I'm sorry. Many people do not like to talk about, and it's very hard to find conversations on. Those are the things that are very interesting. And that type of thing is nobody can predict when it's going to happen. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, but there's going to be a point where the automation coupled with artificial intelligence, they're going to merge perfectly. Robotics is a hot field, and it's only growing more and more right now.
Well, I mean, one of the guys that you and I both, I think history will be kind to us, but one of the guys we both look up to got rid of two of his car making facilities so he could got rid of the Model S and the Model X
Yeah.
to build robots.
Yes. Yeah.
And
There was a
those were
reason.
like his, yeah, I was gonna say those were his most popular cars. Like
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
like, let me show you. I'm gonna cut this head off and show you how this works.
Yep, exactly. I mean, and Musk is a great one to follow because let's face it, the man has not been wrong yet. He's started and he's always been on the forefront of cutting technology and where he sees humanity going. It's
Right.
and he's not the only one. I mean, look at Boston Dynamics, and now I remember watching the Boston Dynamics videos from 10 years ago,
Is this
and
the dog?
now that was they made the dog, yeah. But
Okay.
now the
Okay.
robots, oh my God, it's amazing. Now take that and apply it to the military because that's a whole other realm.
Right.
Military robotics. There's a company. Oh my God, there's a guy. Mike Rowe has on Ethan Thornton, 22
Okay.
years old from Texas, founded Mach Industries.
Okay.
He dropped out of MIT to start this company because basically he's a patriot and he saw a need and he wanted to change how the military fights because he sees the future of kinetic warfare based on what is happening in Ukraine. And
Right.
go listen to that podcast. Go listen to that interview. It's
Okay.
amazing,
I will.
amazing. Where were we? Next one.
What do we do? What do we do with the time? Like you said, hey, if we're working a 25-hour work week, and I think back to this is kind of a healthy thought
Yeah,
without, like you said earlier, take AI out of it.
yeah.
What do people do with the time if they do have AI and it has given them this and they've got all this freedom? Is it more community? Is it more exercise? I mean,
You
what?
know what? It's whatever that person wants. I mean, it's like for me personally, it's like I'd take more gym time. I would love to take more gym time, more health time, more walks in the park time. I mean, that right there is 3 hours of our day.
Right.
Right? We get up in the morning, first thing, hit the gym, go for a walk, lift weights, come home, work, and then go in our evening walk for another couple miles.
Right.
I'm fully happy with having more time to putts in my pool, putts in her garden. Like, what do you want to do? If you're a believer in the fourth turning theory, um, I think we've touched on that once. If you not Google it, the fourth turning, like we're supposed to be entering into the end of the fourth, which is chaos and disruption and conflict and basically what's happening in the world right now.
I was gonna
And
say, have
then,
you paid attention?
yeah, but basically, what just look out your window or watch the news for 5 minutes. But we're supposed to go into the fourth turn, the first turning, which is all about creativity. So I don't know.
So
They,
we're right on the edge.
we're on the edge. Yeah. They say 2030, 31 is when everything's supposed to come to the final tipping point, and then we start over again. I don't know, but AI has, I think one of the problems that I see in when I talk to, because we just gave a presentation on AI a couple weeks ago to a bunch of businesses on governance, risk, and compliance. Right, we were talking about GRC, and another guy that we were partnered with, he was focused purely on content creation. He's a
Okay.
marketer, web developer, social media person, so he uses all these tools to do image creation, commercials. He uses like 10 different things to create an image or a video based on one thing. What he can do is fascinating. It's amazing.
Right.
He can take a picture of you and then create a complete 5-minute commercial from that image. It's great what he can do. But when you talk to these people, there were like 50 people in the room, they're all over the place. So when
Right.
you talk to the lay person or the everyday person about AI, they're just trying to figure out how to use it. How can I use this in Excel? How do I write this email better? What can I do with this here? They're so far on the low end of utilization that it's kind of funny. It's also a little sad because what I see in the industry is that all of the big AI players have given everybody nuclear weapons with no instruction manual. It's like, here, go
Right.
do a thing. And then they're trying to figure out how to do a thing with zero understanding of what the thing is.
Right.
I kept mentioning LLM in this presentation. And I had at least a half a dozen people say, "What's an LLM?" I was like, "Oh, okay. We need to have a remedial what
Right.
is AI class." Then I go to another presentation, and we go to another AI presentation that's usually developers. Now we're on a whole nother level of, we're doing this with that. We're connected to this. We have my own MCP server. We're doing that. Like the the use capability is all over the place.
Right.
And that's just using chat. Nothing about, we're not getting into the medical research piece, the military application, because those are so far removed from everyday chat use of AI. That's the other thing that's confusing is like, what are you doing with it versus what is a pharmaceutical company doing with it versus what is Lockheed Martin doing with it? It's all over but that shows how much it's already impacting everything.
Right.
And I mean, you say when you worked for Proofpoint, AI was already in use with you guys 10 years ago, but that was probably machine learning more than artificial intelligence. So now you've got artificial intelligence and agentic AI tied into applications and everything. So it's crazy. It is one of those things that if you're not using it, you better start learning how to. You need to start learning how to. And everybody says, well, how?
Yeah, I was gonna
Ask
say,
it to
what's the
teach
best
you.
tips?
Ask it. Ask the AI to teach you. You
Okay.
have a professor at your fingertips to teach you almost anything. Because everybody worries about hallucination and it should make stuff up. It's like that's easy to solve. The very first thing I tell people when they want to learn how to use AI is ask the AI to teach you how to prompt. That's it.
That was
How
always
do
the
I?
most surprising piece to me was that you use it to write the prompt that you're gonna then use to do the thing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's yeah.
Well, one of the problems, one of the issues with most people is that AI was trained on the proper use of the English language. So, like English majors made the best prompt engineers like 5, 10 years ago because
Okay.
they could understand and utilize the English language the best and how they could translate that to the engine. Engines are getting better. They're getting simpler, but there's
For those
still a
that don't
method to your
understand,
prompt.
for those that don't understand, you're saying proper English as opposed to slang.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I
Slang.
didn't. Hmm.
Yeah, and most hallucinations, in my experience, are because of a bad prompt. You too open ended, not specific. You didn't set any boundaries. Like I came up with an acronym Coach. I'd have to go look what a coach actually meant. But there's a framework for your prompt. Is like what are you like? I'm an MSP. I'm interested in developing this product for my client. I would like you to do research on X, Y, and Z, and then please create a Word document for me. If you have any questions or need clarity, ask me. That one sentence will stop hallucination like that.
I like that because I've spent more time learning how to tell it what not to do. So I tell it to do something, but then I spend a bunch of time saying, "But don't do this and don't do this and don't do this." And I like your phrase is more simple.
Yeah, it is. There's a very simple outline. And this gets into like if you talk to there's tools out there like Obsidian. Obsidian is one. It's a oh no, is it a yeah, Obsidian is a note taking tool, but it's super it developers use it a lot. But
Okay.
if you're really into a job role that has a lot of prompting, you save prompts. So you don't recreate the wheel every time. And then you copy paste into your chat and then just update it to little bits because it becomes painful to constantly rewrite the thing over and over and over again. But the
I didn't
it's
realize it was keeping track, and like you can go up and hit like this thing and it just shows you all of what you've done and all
oh
of.
yeah.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
no
the
idea.
history
So
is
I
great.
was, yeah, I was redoing these prompts and I'd be okay. And then I went in there and I had like just
Yeah.
repeat kind of deals and you can delete them
Yeah.
out. And no, just
Well,
using it is it's
yeah.
pretty basic. You gotta do it.
Exactly. And like I said, it's like ask the AI to teach you. How do I prompt? How do I do yeah, the very first thing is teach you how to prompt. And then after that, it's digging into it because there's so many features in when I'm going to use ChatGPT and Claude as the only two examples. Like Copilot, I don't talk too much about. But Claude and ChatGPT, let's face it, they're the mainstays. And Nano Banana Google for image creation, but that's only if you're a content creator of some kind. But
Okay.
like Claude and ChatGPT have so many capabilities in them that trying to keep on top of those capabilities is a nightmare. Every week there's a new release, and somewhere in that release there's a new feature that's undocumented.
Right.
Like then you get into how do you create a Claude skill, which are amazing. So a Claude skill is like a Chat GPT, right? It's an agent. It does
Okay.
one thing very, very well. Then you have to learn how to create those a Claude skill or then create a Chat GPT. Because then you're getting into the agent realm where I need to create for work. I need to create branded documents on a regular basis. I don't want to
Okay.
go and edit a Word document every single time. So I have an agent. I give it the meat of what I want. I tell it, clean this English up and give me a 1 or 2 page branded document back. Boom, done. I just have to review it, make sure I like the language. It says it the way I don't want it to be too flowery or professory. Like you can even tell it the tone, most of all of the AI engines have in their settings, you can set a tone how it wants to talk to you, or talk back to you, or create content for you. So,
Right.
like I like mine a little bit more rough. Now, what you
Do you
can do
get do
all
you give it a human to do you give it a human to replicate?
not yet. No, you can do that, and I'm thinking about going down that rabbit hole. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if I wanted to do it or not, but there is a way to do it. Now, the new thing is talking to your AI, which is a lot of fun. And if you get sick of typing, there's a website out there called what's a website? It's an application called Whisper, and
Okay.
it's the go-to right now to use to talk to any of the engines because its
Okay.
translation capabilities and dictation is really really good. Uh, Now it changes the whole game because people are making Jarvis.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Okay.
Let's see what else is
As
going
we're
on.
yeah, I'll say as we're landing the plane, do you one of the things I wrote down here, are you still using the Oculus?
No, I
Not
haven't used
all?
the Oculus. I can't even remember the last time I picked it up.
I'm just
You know,
curious if the AI, all the things we're talking about, if that's going to be something, glasses as opposed to having to have your phone with you.
well, I'll tell you what. The I won a pair of the Vitru glasses. It's either
Okay.
Vitru or Viture. I can't remember. Viture, I think is the name. They're the ones that they're not like the Meta glasses. The Vitrus create virtual screens in front of you. So you don't
Okay.
need monitors. They'll create it's a virtual augmented reality glasses, but they're really really nice. And I want to pull the trigger on those because I make this complaint all the time. We're still using this stupid thing, this and the damn
Yeah.
mouse. Why? Still
I'm
talking
trying.
and using that.
I'm trying to think of the Tom Cruise movie where they could save the people that were having thoughts about dude. They'd save the crime ahead of time, and they
Yeah.
had the hands and they could move
Oh,
things around on the screen. And
yeah. Report.
Minority Report.
Minority Report. Yeah.
I want the Minority Report so that we can move things around and we're not using the keyboard anymore.
Exactly. I want Tony Stark's little be able to
Yeah, yeah.
move and use my hands. Absolutely. I'm excited. I mean, I'm doom and gloom on other things, which there's another conversation we can have, but I'm not doom and gloom on the technology piece because if one thing has always shown itself to be true is that no matter what we do with technology or where it goes or what it's capable of, human beings always figure it out and adapt. We're going to
Yep.
adapt to this. We're going to figure it out. Terminator's not going to happen. It's I don't believe in that role play game. We have other issues that'll hit us first before that ever gets to that point. There's a lot of things that need to be talked about when it comes to AI, and the universal basic income is always a conversation when it comes to this realm because of what happens when you have, and I'm just talking in the United States, 20, 30, 40 million people who are unemployable, right?
Right.
What does that do to your economy? Um, I mean, we still have countries that are in development phases who are still breaking away from fire as a fuel source, right? So
Right.
that's not an issue over there. So it's yeah, I'm not. I don't freak out about it. I just can't wait to see what's going to come next because it's crazy what it can do today. And the biggest challenge I see is for most people understanding how much power is at their fingertips. One of the things that we gave in our presentation was the fact that if you're a small or medium sized business or an individual, the whole playing field was just leveled across the board because you have at your fingertips what enterprises used to pay hundreds of millions of dollars for years. you now have the same freaking power at your fingertips to go do something.
Right.
It's amazing. And now that the whole vibe coding thing is now mainstream, and even high level developers are like, yeah, go develop your own CRM, go develop your own Salesforce, go develop your own thing. It's like, that needs to, if that doesn't have like corporations standing up and going, huh,
I didn't even think about it that way.
it is,
That's
dude.
incredible.
You
Wow.
have the,
Another thing I wasn't thinking about
yeah,
as holy shit. I'm up, we're up against the end. I
okay,
appreciate your time. We will do this again. You've been
yes,
on multiple times and I really appreciate it. Last thing we're going to end with.
yes.
How's it working with your spouse?
Oh, I love working with my wife. Um, we collide every once in a while, but hey, that shit's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, we literally just had this conversation uh in the last week or two. No, we love working together. It's a perfect match because we're
That's
different.
great. Yeah,
I
yeah.
drive her crazy, she drives me crazy, but our crazy is what makes us move forward and and uh and be successful. So I couldn't do this without her. That's for fucking sure. I know that now without a doubt. Like there's things there's like not willing to do that she loves. So like
Yeah.
perfect.
That's awesome. That's great. I will save the rest of these questions for last time.
Cool.
Any last minute final tips other than using your AI to teach you itself? Any last minute, hey, have you thought of this? Any good resources or a good book?
Book no. Go listen to the AI Daily Brief podcast.
AI Daily Brief podcast. Okay.
Yeah, it's a short every morning the guy comes out with a new one that talks about what happened the previous day, and he's been doing this for years. So
Okay.
it's a really fun source of information about what's going on in this ecosphere that's
Let me
always
write it
changing.
down. You said daily.
The AI Daily Brief.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have a great evening. Enjoy dinner, and we will talk soon. I appreciate you.
Same to you, brother. Take care, man. Bye bye.
All right, take care. Bye. Bye. Bye.